Mr. Chairman, apropos of Mr. Burke's request in regard to the plans for the entire project that we've referred to previously, we did get a copy, and I would like to introduce a copy of these as an exhibit at this time. And I'm going to ask you to call Mr. Martin, excuse me, yes, I'm going to ask to call, we call Mr. Martin to testify regarding these plans, since he shied away from it as a result of your...
So this will be Exhibit 8, and these are the plans from 2007. What's the...
September 18, 2007, preliminary plans.
And so just for the record, this is Exhibit number 8, and it's a set of, reduced set of plans. It has a date stamp on it, Town of Bristol, 07, September 19, 10:20 a.m., so that would be September 19th of 2007. 10:20 in the morning was received. Belvedere at Bristol preliminary plan, Bristol, Rhode Island, Assessors Map 10 / lots 3, 6, 7, 65, and 81. And the date is September 18, 2007. And so these apparently are the plans that were submitted on that date.
Correct.
And there are how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pages. Thanks.
Like the
So, Mr. Martin, you asked a question. You had mentioned some plans back from 2007, and you had mentioned some of the requirements and the parts of that plan. And I see on the first page, Busson O'Neill is the site civil environmental engineer. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And did you work on this project back in 2007?
Yes, I did.
And on the first page, it indicates Assessors Map 10, lots 3, 6, 7, 65, and 81, correct?
That's correct.
Well, in fact, this plan includes lot 6.
Yes, it does.
And did you appear before the planning board in regard to this development?
Yes, I did.
And were you present when they rendered decisions?
Yes.
Now, this is a preliminary plan, correct?
Yes.
And was the final plan that was approved by the board in substantially the same form as this?
Yes.
Now, could you take a look at page 3 of this exhibit? This is 8, Mr. Tights? Yes. Thank you. And you familiar with this plan?
Yes,
Page 3?
I am.
Could you tell us, in 2007, what was part of this plan in terms of proposed buildings and parking?
The preliminary plan shown on this drawing included 4 buildings. The Belvedere Hotel, John Street Condominium, Carriage House, and Thames Street Condominium. And it also included a parking structure.
Now, you heard Mr. McGilvery attempt to make a point earlier that the Belvedere project did not require any off-street parking. You recall that?
Yes,
The zoning code doesn't require off-street parking.
that's correct.
And could you tell us if, in fact, that was the case with the approval by the planning board for the Belvedere.
No, it's not the case. The requirements were for 0 parking. The plan was approved with 22 parking spaces for the Belvedere Hotel and 4 spaces for the carriage house. Those parking spaces are depicted on the upper level of the parking deck on this sheet. It's designated as parking for carriage house and Belvedere Hotel. It totals 26 parking spaces. There are 2, if I may finish, there are 2 parking spaces that were required for the John Street condominium, and those are allocated within that building structure. Lastly, the remaining parking spaces on the lower level of the parking deck were 31 parking spaces. At the time, the project included a larger commercial development totaling 7,200 square feet and 10 dwelling units.
So could you once again tell us the number of units that the planning board, number of parking spaces the planning board required for the Belvedere and the carriage house?
26.
Those were required by the planning board despite the fact that zoning code does not require off-street parking?
Yes, that was my recollection.
Now, in regard to the John Street condominiums, what lot was that proposed on?
The reason I'm checking is the board notices on the cover sheet there were multiple lots at the time, but it did include parcel 6, or lot 6.
And is that where the John Street condominiums, the condominiums were proposed on Thames Street?
That's correct.
So you recall that Mr. McGilvery tried to indicate that there were 26 extra spaces that were being provided in this proposal. Do you recall that?
Yes.
So can you tell us now, with the 26 that were required for Belvedere and the carriage house, how many actual additional units, parking units, are being proposed in the parking facility?
Object to the question. Mr. Kelly keeps using the words required by the planning board when all this shows is that it was proposed by the applicant. There is no evidence in the papers that shows it was required by the planning board. So I think that the question is inappropriate, lacks foundation.
Mr. Martin testified that the planning board required this off-street parking. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
I think the objection should be overruled and let Mr. Martin's testimony, and Mr. Gilbert can rebut it in due course if he wants to.
Could you read my question back to us?
Question, and so can you tell us now, with the 26 that were required for the Belvedere and the carriage house, how many actual additional units, parking units, are being proposed in the parking facility?
The answer is 1 additional space.
It's not the 26 or units, additional parking unit spaces that Mr. McGilvery suggested.
That's correct.
And so with 26 for the Belvedere and the carriage house, and how many required for the proposed 20-unit condominium building?
20 spaces.
And how many are being proposed in total?
49, including John Street.
And once again, there's only one additional parking space being provided.
That's correct.